Welcome to CivilNet. My guest today is a very special person. Carrie Nahabedian is a chef. This is Valentine's weekend, and we appreciate Carrie giving us time on what must be the busiest weekend of the year for a chef. Carrie, welcome to CivilNet.
Thank you. It's happy to be here. Welcome from Chicago.
And it really must be a busy weekend for a chef, huh? Valentine's weekend.
It's always crazy. It's the busiest day of the year. That and New Year's Eve, very similar.
Carrie, you and your cousin, Michael Nahabedian, co-own NAHA in Chicago, which has only gotten raves. You're a James Beard Award winner, which for those sad people who aren't foodies, we should describe and say is kind of like the Pulitzer and the Nobel for the food world.
It's a great honor, even just being nominated. But to win was very special for the restaurant, my family, for Chicago, because it's a great honor for the city.
Carrie, you're an Armenian, and you've said, you know, you've come from a heritage where food is at the center of the universe, and I certainly understand that. But, you know, Armenians don't become chefs. They don't turn it into a business. They cook and family comes. How did you make this happen?
You know, I think it's just the creative process. My grandmother, Rose Vartui, she was such a spectacular cook, and she instilled that in us through her everyday cooking for her husband, my grandfather, the family. But my mother, Helen, who's 83 years old, and my parents are married 63 years. My mother still cooks every single day, and same when I was growing up. And I think it was just my love of the arts, and I just took it from there. I truly believe I have a natural gift, and I love to create, and it's a great expression of love to cook for somebody every single day.
Well, I'm sure the people you cook for aren't terribly disappointed. It sounds like a great menu and a great setup. You know what was really impressive? I looked at some of your recipes, and I watched you on YouTube, and you have this interesting mix of ingredients that are familiar to us in unfamiliar sorts of situations. You put fava beans in succotash.
Well, you know, that's a classic Southern American dish. Succotash is some kind of bean. Usually it's like a soybean or a big lima bean, but that's my interpretation. Naha is an American restaurant with influences of the Mediterranean, but that Mediterranean extends not just France, Italy, Spain, it extends to North Africa, into the Middle East, and I put influences of what I feel, how it was in ancient times. So on our bar menu at Naha, we make our own lamajun. We have a big mezza. We do all different types of spreads and yogurts and different types of hummus, because people love to eat our heritage. I mean, every day someone will ask me, Carrie, why is there no rice pilaf? And I'll be like, oh my God, you know? So every once in a while, I'll take an interpretation of a dish, like maybe I'll do braised lamb, and I'll do a crack week bulgur like my grandmother did, but I add my own twist to it. And that way the cooks also learn, they expand their horizons. And I can honestly say the majority of my cooks had no idea what Middle Eastern or Armenian food was until they came here, and they see it as just a very natural. When I cook it, it's just very natural, because it's like cooking for your family. That's the way I look at it. Cooking for someone is just like as if you invited them into your home, and my home happens to be a very luxurious restaurant.
Yes, we all want to come visiting that home. Have you visited Armenia?
I've been to Armenia. I came with my family about 4 or 5 years ago for my father's birthday, and we had a great time. We stayed in Yerevan. We went to Echmiadzin. We went to all the sacred and holy sites, and we spent 8 days. It was lovely. I every year I say I'm going to go back or see the harvest with my good friend Sylvia Terlekian from Harvest Song. She always invites me to say, "Come see the harvest," and we have a great many Armenian friends, and obviously the Armenian community in Chicago is very strong, and we're part of it. And people from our church go back every year, and they always say, "Why don't you come?" And I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. Sometimes the places that you hold so dearly are the ones that are the most difficult to get to.
Well, you come and we'll set up some master classes and you know, and learn to do some things better and more efficiently. Is it easier to be an American restaurant with an ethnic flavor now than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago? You come from the big hotels. You've worked in Four Seasons. You've worked at the Ritz-Carlton. Is it a little bit easier now to have that ethnic influence than it was a while back?
I think, well, Chicago is certainly a melting pot, and we use that term here because the neighborhoods, there's, certain neighborhoods in the city, you can eat your way through the world through Chicago. And I think as the world is not as small as it once was, and the borders, I always say there's borders politically, but there's no borders when it comes to food. And it's very easy to cook because everyone's palates are so enlightened when you bring back great spices. Or if recently we started making pagash for our church because one of the ladies broke their arm and they couldn't make it for the church picnic, and that was my grandmother's specialty.
What did you make?
Pagash, the bread pagash.
And how is that made?
It's the butter bread and rolled in the coil. You might call it
Choreg.
well, chud egg. My mother makes the best chud egg, bar none. At 83 years old, I still can't duplicate it. But you might think of it as kata.
I see.
Kata?
Okay, gata, sure.
So I taught my pastry chef, Craig Harzeski, a good Polish boy from Buffalo, New York. I taught him how to make the kata, my grandmother's pagash recipe. And now he makes a few hundred loaves for our church picnic and for the church because he makes that, and the church loves it. And then our customers hear about it and they're like, "Can you make some more of that bread that your grandmother was known for?" And I think it's really great when you're able to share your heritage with others. I want to share one thing with you if I could.
Sure.
In September, I was asked to do a promotion at the Four Seasons Hotel in Istanbul at Sultanahmet. And I was very hesitant. They've asked me 2, 3 times to come. And I was very hesitant because I have good friends there, but I just wasn't sure how it would all play out. And finally, I paid a visit. I'd been there before, and I'd paid a visit, and I saw the kitchen, I saw the staff, I saw the love. Everyone was so welcoming to me. And then the Archbishop of the Armenian Church was here in our restaurant because he comes every time he's here from New York, Surbazan. And I asked him about it, and he said, "Absolutely, Istanbul is my hometown, and you'll be well welcomed into the city." So in September, Michael and I, my pastry chef, we were in Istanbul for 12 days, and we cooked Naha food at the Four Seasons Istanbul using Turkish products. And it was an incredible experience. People came out of the woodwork once they heard that our grandparents were from Sivas. Everybody came from Sivas to say hello to us. Obviously not everyone because of this, how big it is. But that was definitely an arena where there was no border. They understood who I was. I was an Armenian cooking in Turkey, and I brought back some great recipes, great spices, but mostly what I brought back was a renewed love of the region. And even though our grandparents came in the manner that they did, my grandparents always spoke so lovingly of Istanbul, and it was great to experience it as a chef.
I think that there are many walls to be broken down in Turkey and Istanbul, and food is certainly one of the easiest ways to try to do it. And thank you for sharing the story. Thank you for giving us time on Valentine's weekend from Chicago.
Thank you.
Carrie Nahabedian is chef owner of NAHA in Chicago, and we're all going to come one by one to come visit you.
I'll see you soon in Yerevan, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Take care.
Thank you very much, and thank you for watching CivilNet.